Hey guys, and welcome to Get Life Podcast Kunai. This is the new anime and manga podcast from the Get Life Podcast. And you may be thinking, well, what's going on here, Bish? What is going on? We actually are at MCM London Comic Con above everything else. So we can see everyone like around the expo, which is kind of cool, but yet very creepy. But yeah, I am joined with me today with Hideki from Tokyo Toys.
Hello guys, hi there.
Yeah, so we're going to be recording with Hideki and talking about Tokyo Toys. Obviously,
yeah,
as well as his part in the gaming industry. So let's get straight into it.
Okay, let's do it.
So first question is, what do you think of the expo so far? Because you're taking it as an exhibitor, so it's a very different experience. Not many people get to have the experience that you have. So what do you think about that?
I think London Expo, or as it used to be called, it's called the MCM Comic Con now. It's absolutely amazing because it started off with just manga, didn't it? Very niche, just manga. And now it's even more manga. But the most amazing thing about it is the integration of the movie industry and the games industry. And, you know, the three industries, they all merge together. They're all relevant to our customers. And that's made it just one amazing show. You know, it's a show that you can come and just enjoy absolutely everything in your life. Brilliant.
It's actually it's awesome. Like, as you mentioned, the whole movie industry. Bear in mind, they're probably the main sponsors of these kind of shows, so they kind of bring in a lot of money. But it's a little something for everyone in that sense, which is great. So tell us about yourself, your life, and your company.
Okay. So how do I start out? I left university, just like most people do. And at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'd studied design, as in designing furniture, designing cars, designing headphones. So it wasn't necessarily computer gaming or manga related. But I grew up with manga, watching Fist of the North Star and various other ones. Street Fighter, absolutely amazing. Those two just blew my mind, and I think people in my who experienced those two animes probably would have the same experience as me. They were just groundbreaking. The art was just so realistic, wasn't it? You know, you'd thought it was you'd watch it, and to you it was real life, but just so much more amazing. You know, the powerful characters, and at the time, you know, Street Fighter was a game that we were all playing, and again, that was a groundbreaking game. It was just amazing. It was the first time you had characters that looked like they took the whole screen, while usually the characters were just absolutely tiny. So anyway, so I left university, and one of my friends happened to work in the games industry for a company called Interactive Entertainment, and that company specialised in Formula One simulations. And then one of the last games we did there was licensed by Castro Honda, so it's called Castro Honda World Champions, and I was the lead graphic designer for that project. So I looked after all the textures and all the tracks. And while working in the computer games industry, I learned, I improved on my graphic design skills, and I went to a lot of exhibitions. Can't remember what it was. I think it was something like called the Computer Game Show or something like that. And basically, it was a show where similar to Comic-Con, but it just specializes in computer games. And we had a booth there as part of the company, and that was where I learned how to set up a booth and how to make it appealing to your customer base. So that's where I learned a lot of my Tokyo Toys foundation, should I say.
It's great. So what was your first gaming experience, if you can think far back?
Oh, this one's almost impossible because I am such a game geek. I have played literally every game on the planet. But one of my most fond memories is I think it was called Macro, or I can't remember, but it was a wholesaler food store, and basically they had the Nintendo NES in there. Was it the NES? I can't even remember, but it was just a 2-color console. And whenever my mum took me there, I'd always be playing the game or waiting in queue to play the game because there's always loads of kids and you never got to go. But just watching other people playing the game was just amazing, you know, watching this little plumber smashing blocks, running around, finding hidden pathways. It was just absolutely amazing. And I never could do one level. It was almost impossible back then.
Wow. Okay, because obviously games are very different now, and I would say it kind of branches off onto this big kind of thing. Are games easier nowadays?
I think it was because I was an absolutely dreadful gamer back then, I think. Because it was obviously, I didn't have a console at home, so therefore I only played it when I was at the shop.
Yeah.
And because of that, you don't have enough time to get comfortable with the control pad, with just the way the mechanics of the game work. And I think that was probably, I was just a very bad gamer since I never had a console when I was young.
Okay.
Yeah.
That brings us on to our next question. So, what is your favorite games console of all time?
This is a really hard one, but I would say the Xbox 360 was my absolutely most favorite, because I loved the Xbox because of Halo. When that came out, that blew my mind, because back then I was a PC gamer, and I didn't believe that you could play a first-person shooter with a control pad. I thought, that's impossible. It would never happen. These consoles will never do it. But Microsoft and Bungie, they proved me completely wrong. And that game is one of my all-time favourite games, especially playing multiplayer with 4 friends, split screen. Was it quad screen? Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, speaking of Halo, they've just announced that they're going to be doing like all of the old games. They're going to remaster them for the Xbox One. Do you think that's something you're going to be getting? Or?
Of course, because I bought the anniversary version of the original Halo on the Xbox 360. And when it comes out for the Xbox One, which I have as well, I'm going to go straight out and get it.
That's awesome. So, from what I'm gathering here, you're more of an Xbox person than the PlayStation guy.
Oh, I hate to say this, but recently I bought PlayStation 4 as well. And it's not because I have a problem with Microsoft or... what would I say? I enjoy good products and good quality product. And at the time... PlayStation seemed to be doing the right thing. You know, they had rebranded their control pad, and it's amazing. I think the PlayStation 4 control pad is probably the best control pad at the moment. And sadly, I must say the Xbox One control pad went backwards.
I agree with you on that.
It went backwards, and that hurt me because it was definitely the best console control pad back then.
Okay. So yeah, getting back onto the gaming industry, I believe you work for Midas.
Yes, Midas Interactive. That was it was a licensing company. It was a very new company at the time, but we happened to specialise in Japanese import games. So we were the ones who brought Dynasty Warriors into the UK. And that was a really exciting time.
It was an amazing time, especially for me. Around that time, I was about 6. Dynasty Warriors 2 just came out, just got PS2, really excited, and I would just go wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, which is something I really wouldn't do now, and I don't know why the hell I would do it as a kid, just to play this game. And to be honest, and I say this every time there is someone that's related to Dynasty Warriors in any sort of way, I went through 3 copies of that game.
Wow. 3 copies as in they broke down on you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
I played it so much, and I only completed 1 story mode.
Yeah.
There was like 3 story modes in the game, only completed 1. And only played as 1 character out of the 30 playable characters.
That's like me sometimes. I have my favourite and I just stick with that character.
But that's the thing, I didn't know I could change characters. Being a 6-year-old kid.
That's right. That's amazing, because back then we wouldn't have imagined people at 6 would be playing Dynasty Warriors,
to be honest, my older sister was a big fan of the first Dynasty Warriors game, so she got the second one. And to be honest, we really shouldn't be playing those games, but we ended up anyway. It wasn't really harmful. Like if you compare it to games like, let's say Call of Duty, you wouldn't let a 6-year-old play that.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't, exactly. It's just video games are very different compared to now, but that is not the point. In regards to Dynasty Warriors, what did you do specifically for that game?
Okay, so I worked on the packaging for that game. And so I did the cover art packaging and the conversion from the Japanese one to the UK packaging.
Okay.
And I went to loads of shows demoing how to play that game as well. So it was a really fun time, because the most amazing thing about Dynasty Warriors is the first game back then to have hundreds of people fighting on the screen at once, and that was just mind blowing, wasn't it? Was that what appealed to you back then?
To me, I don't know. I was just to be honest, I was a dumb kid. Like, never experienced video games before, and I think it was very simple.
Yeah.
You know, you could just pick up the controller. All you need to do is press square and triangle
That's
at the
right.
right times. And I felt like a boss. Like, I was like, oh my god, I could do this as well. Although I never really went out and killed people, because that's
right.
It's crazy. But it was something that I've never experienced before.
Right.
And especially because, you know, it's especially releasing a Japanese game into the UK. Like, really, we've never experienced
That's
that before.
right. That's right.
Something
yes.
completely new. But in regards to that, did you also design the promotional posters as well?
No, I didn't actually. Someone else in the main Midas office, they did that work, so I didn't actually get to do that myself.
I see, but it was based on the cover art
Yes,
of the game.
I think it was. Yes, I remember. It was a long time ago now. It was probably almost 15 years ago, so my mind's a bit blurry in that space now.
Okay, because there was a secret question here, and I was actually going to bring in a copy of Dynasty Warriors to kind of refresh your memory, but unfortunately I can't find it anywhere at the expo. I've been going to all these different expos, been searching online.
Okay.
To be honest, I can't find it. And the only reason like I get from them is like, no one plays those games.
Oh dear.
And I'm like, wow. It makes me feel sad inside. But anyway, what have you been playing recently?
Right, recently, what I've been playing, I have been playing lots of everything. It's hard to narrow it down. I've been playing Killzone on the PlayStation 4. That game is graphically beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And at the MCM right now, there's a massive Far Cry 4 poster up there, and I can't wait to get my hands on that game, because that looks absolutely groundbreaking. The graphics are absolutely amazing and do look next gen. GTA 5, the HD version, I'm itching for that. I can't wait to get that. But what I'm actually playing a lot at the moment is VR games. So I've got myself the Oculus Rift DK2, and I'm playing the Alien, the Isolation in VR, looking around, getting chased by the alien. I must say, VR is definitely the future, and I can't wait for more people to experience it, because I love it at the moment. It's absolutely amazing.
So it's an amazing thing, especially like it's a lot of people can do a lot with it, not just in gaming. Like, you could do it in terms of videos and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
I believe last year we were recording with Honda, and they actually we were on the bike that they designed and whatever, and they put an Oculus Rift onto us, and we felt that we were driving that bike. It was awesome. But you can use the Oculus Rift for many other things. You know, I've seen people using it to like make their own private Hatsune Miku concerts and stuff, which is extremely awesome. And I think if I had an Oculus Rift, I would do that.
I think as manga fans, we're going to have a great time with the Oculus. You know, we're going to be able to do things that we could never normally experience. You know, what I'm really looking forward to is, remember back in the days when we used to bring our consoles over to each other's houses. We had to set up 3 TVs, maybe 4. Someone is going to make it, and I've said it here first, so you're going to hear it. And someone's going to steal this idea of me. But basically, imagine an Oculus Rift chat room where you can sit wherever you want, like on space or a beach. You drop in a TV, you're playing Halo or whatever you're playing, Far Cry 4, and then your friend calls you, can I jump into your chat room? And they go, yeah, sure, put your TV wherever you want. And your friend drops his TV next to your one, which just happens to be in the water, you know, in the sea. You're both sitting on a beach, and then he launches his version of Far Cry 4. Sorry, I'm getting the names completely wrong. I'm just too excited, because this idea is so exciting. And then he connects to a LAN game with you online using Microsoft or PlayStation 4 network, and you're both wearing your headset, seeing each other's virtual TVs, and it's like you're playing a LAN game in virtual space with each other. And then, you know, maybe your mum would join in and put on her, dropping a TV of her own. And then maybe your girlfriend would join in to keep an eye on you, see what you're doing, and she'll drop a little jukebox and play some, I don't know, One Direction
that
or something.
That would get extremely annoying. Let's just put that there.
Okay.
To be honest, I wouldn't. It's a nice idea, but I wouldn't want my mum casually just to enter the room. Hey,
well, that's a
fish.
matter of speaking. She, mums wouldn't be interested in a way. But just imagine that. So then, you could play online with each other for 4 hours, and then you have nothing to set down apart from taking off your Oculus Rift. I think that's the future, and our patented to that idea now. So.
Okay, now let's get away from the gaming and into Tokyo Toys. So, how did you start the company off?
Right, the company started. It's wow, that was 10 years ago. So I'm gonna have to think back a bit. I think what happened is while working in the games industry, I was always wondering, where do you get the figures for Zelda? Where do you get the figures for whatever the games there were at the time? And I thought, wait a minute, if it's that hard to find those products, maybe it's an opportunity to open a store to sell those products. And so I looked online, and there was no one, and I was completely amazed. I thought, Japan, they make such cool products. There's no one to sell their products. So I thought, okay, let's try it. And we just blindly went into Manga toys, basically. And so I have a funny story. We started our first show with just one table, and we piled it up with toys, and then it became 2, then it became 4, and then it became 16, and we got to wherever we are now. And so one day, one of the industry people who licensed DVDs, he came up to us and he said, "You know what? When I first saw you guys, we were all kind of quietly giggling to each other, because we thought, oh, you guys are going to go bust instantly, because they had always done toys in a small manner, but it didn't really do that particularly well for them. So when they saw us blindly doing Japanese toys and merchandise, they thought there's no chance they're going to do well. But he said, no, we're really impressed, because while we have stayed relatively the same size at Comic-Con, you guys seem to double each time we see you.
Yeah.
So we've stabilized the size of the company now. We don't want to become much bigger than what we are now at Comic-Con. We think we're at a nice size, and but yeah, so we just got in it quite blindly because I had a passion for those products, and I really like the products from Japan, especially the gaming figures. They can make the figures look exactly like the character,
yeah.
And it seems like only Japan have the knack for making something so precisely like the actual characters. Because if you buy a statue of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, most of the time she looks nothing like that.
Yeah.
But if you buy something from Japan, they look so much like it. It's just incredible. And that was what appealed to me, the accuracy of Japanese products.
Of course. You mentioned that back in the day, each time you went to these expos, you would double in size.
Yeah.
And even today, normally you have that kind of area there, but you're in the other room as well.
Yes, that's right.
Which
yes.
Is crazy.
Yeah. Well, what we love about Comic-Con is they're constantly evolving, and we love to evolve with them. We look at what's happening with the convention, and we try, and in many senses, actually, they influence the way Tokyo Toys moves forward. So wherever they're going, we'll go with them.
That's very nice, actually. So where did the name Tokyo Toys come from?
It was just random luck, actually. It was random luck. We had a brainstorming session. We came up with loads of names, and apparently it was myself who came up with the word Tokyo Toys. And I can't remember it, to be honest, but my brother insists it was myself who actually came up with it. So I'm very proud of myself for that.
You should be, actually. It's quite a unique name. And it's quite simple as well. Like, you know what you're getting.
That's right. You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting.
Tokyo Toys.
So, have the kind of mascot here, Coco the monkey.
Yep.
How did that start off?
Oh, that was amazing. It was, again, so many things with Tokyo Toys have just been complete random luck. We met this fan. In fact, it was our second Comic-Con at London Expo, and we were looking for a mascot, and I mentioned it to an artist, and she said one of her friends happened to be a manga artist. He draws the banners for Comic-Con, and I thought, okay then. So I met her. Her name is Wing Yun Man, and so she showed me her portfolio, and straight away she flicked a few pages, and I saw Coco sitting on a girl's shoulder. It was a drawing for a Year of the Monkey calendar, and I said, that is the character. We need that for that. That is Tokyo Toys. It just says Tokyo Toys, and I don't know. There's something about, maybe it's myself, but I love monkeys. I think they're cute, they're cheeky, and it kind of wraps up what we feel we are as Tokyo Toys. You know, we're fun, we're slightly cheeky, and we're not scared to try new things. Yeah,
that's great. And I have to say, it's really nice that you went with the monkey on that one. 'Cause,
thank you.
It's an amazing logo. You know,
thank you.
Especially, look at that! It's like Naruto. It's Naruto as a monkey. Which
That's
is
right.
Badass.
Well, Coco loves to cosplay, and so we watch the latest animes, and we think, what should he cosplay next? And we ask our customers, and they'll give us recommendations, and we'll pick the one that he most suits. And sadly, guys, we have rejected the cosplaying ones. We can't have him dressing as a girl, unfortunately, isn't it? What do you think?
To be honest, I would like to see Coco cross-playing, especially as I forgot her name now. Marco from Kill la Kill.
Oh, now you're talking. You're talking. Okay, I might do an exception if it happens. It was because of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you guys want to see that, just constantly tweet Tokyo Toys.
Yes.
And put this episode in the tweet
so
that more people can see, and obviously Hideki can get that sorted out. Hopefully.
Yes. So you got to tweet a lot.
You have to tweet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Any stories of awesome or really odd customers that have come into the store?
God, we have so many awesome customers. It's so hard to narrow down, but it's always the ones that catch you out and surprise you. Like once we had a Christmas party at our shop in the Greenwich Market, and one of the head guys at the ADV, the licensing company for DVDs, he randomly popped into our store, and just seeing him was just amazing. He had time to come down to our Christmas party, and it completely caught us by surprise. So that was a really nice, heartwarming moment, because we see them at London Comic Con all the time, but we don't have time to speak. So when you see someone take time to come and see your store, it's just something really special. So I got a shout out to another guy that used to come to our store quite a lot. He when Guitar Hero was massive, he was actually their champion. He was actually the UK champion at Guitar Hero, and so we would have him come to our store and play Guitar Hero, and he was the only one that could play it on the most difficult setting and just ace each track. He was amazing. And let me think, but there's one that really does stick out, and his name is the Pocky Ninja. He's probably our best customer ever. He used to be one of our forum customers. He used to stalk Tokyo Toys on the forums, posting and helping other members out. Really, really nice guy. And then one day was at a show, we were completely swamped in
So yeah, we were rudely interrupted by my iPad, because my iPad sometimes does that because it's stupid. But you were mentioning about Pocky Ninja.
The amazing Pocky Ninja, yes. He didn't start off with the name Pocky Ninja.
So how did he get that name?
I think he picked it for himself, because obviously Tokyo Toys is well known for selling Pocky.
Yeah.
And every guy wants to be a ninja, so you combine the two and you make them even more epic, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was our most loyal customer or forum member. He then became a Tokyo Toys staff member. And now he's the most amazing friend you can have. I even went to his wedding. And
wow.
That was the most amazing wedding I've ever been to in my life. So his name is actually John, and his wife is Jenny. So big shout out to the two of them. And yes.
So, do they still come to the expos?
Yes, they do. He's working there right now.
Oh, is it?
At the second store, yeah.
Wow.
Yep, he's working at our second store right now, working hard as he does.
Awesome. I did not know that. Does he normally cosplay as a ninja, or?
I don't know what he used to, but I think now he runs around so quick at expos serving customers, he overheats with his cloak on.
I see.
So yes, unfortunately he
It's
doesn't dress. It is a shame.
So, do you ever regret leaving the gaming industry?
The gaming industry is one of my I miss it so much because I had some of the greatest friends there that are still my friends now, and yes, it was the most fun I've ever had. Just imagine it, you love games, you're a game geek, you have an excuse to play games, it's the perfect combination, isn't it? You work making the games, and you can go home and you can play the games, and you can never get told off because you're like, I have to research what's happening in the industry. So I did a lot of researching, and I enjoyed my researching a lot. And so now I look back at it, and it was just the most amazing time ever, especially because we worked on a licensed Castrol Honda game, and we got to race around Silverstone on their bikes.
Wow.
And that was the most amazing experience in my life in terms of vehicles, and I'd never been on a superbike before. They gave me 1 hour training, and then I was racing all my buddies around the track.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I've got some really amazing memories of the games industry.
Okay. So, we're surrounded by a lot of anime and manga imports and such.
Yep.
So is there any chance that we'll be seeing some imported games being sold at Tokyo?
Imported games. Do you know what? We are actually potentially working on that. If there's a company out there that has imported games that they want to sell at Tokyo Toys, give us a call, because we're definitely looking at that route, because our customers, they've been asking us for years to do imported games, and we just said no one's come to us with the games, and we don't know how to go about getting them.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing, especially the market is such a small thing. Especially with games like Dynasty Warriors, because Japan gets them first, and sometimes they get it exclusively for Japan. But because now a lot of companies are taking on the responsibility to get those games translated and such, right. So there isn't much of a kind of a...
Maybe that's the problem at the moment, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Rising Star, we thought they were going to be the solution to it, but I don't know what's happened to Rising Star at the moment. I haven't heard of them since, have you?
Rising Star Games?
Yeah, Rising Star Games. Or they're still around?
Yeah, they're actually right next to Koei Tecmo's booth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But they're
still around. I'm not sure what they do now. Not as... I don't think they do as many games as they used to. But they're still around. Still around.
Well, Rising Star, you heard it here.
Yeah.
If you want to sell your stuff in Tokyo Toys, we'll definitely like to look into it.
You recently got a new store, which was about a couple months ago.
Yes.
And obviously I was there the day you opened, and you were still doing some DIY, I believe, in the store, installing the drawers and stuff.
Yes.
I know it's an odd question, but do you like doing that? Do you like to get hands-on with your store?
Yes. I'm one of those people who believe in, if you expect your staff to do something, you should do it yourself first. You should experience what it's like to do that. So I've done every task in Tokyo Toys.
You even got a ticket gun right there.
I've got a ticket gun right here, so I've been pricing products all morning. But so I'm a believer in you have to experience what you preach to your staff.
Yeah, of course. It sets a good example for them.
It does set a good example.
Okay. So what do you think of the new store? Because it's still in Trocadero. It's just right across the old store. It provides more space and whatnot. But what do you think the customers think, and what do you think of it?
Okay. Well, first I'd like to thank the Trocadero. They've been amazing to Tokyo Toys in the last few years that we've been there. We've been there for about 3 years in total. But particularly the last 2 years, they've been so helpful with Tokyo Toys. And yes, the building's gone through a lot of changes, everyone has noticed. But in every change so far, they've accommodated the Tokyo Toys much more than anyone would normally as a landlord. So we're really grateful to be there. And, it's just the most magical place you could be. It's right in the central London. Everyone from around the country can get to Charing Cross or Piccadilly Circus on a mainline train or a tube.
Well connected,
It's very well connected. And, you go to Tokyo Toys, you get to go to the theatre. There's lots of excuses to come to Tokyo Toys. Not that our customers need excuses. I think they come because they love it. But so we're very proud of the new store. Obviously, would love to do much more to it, but we have to. We like to move very slowly with Tokyo Toys, because the problem with any retail space, you don't know how long you'll have it. Obviously, we feel we're going to be there for a very long time, but we still have to do one step at a time. Since the Trocadero is going through some changes at the moment, they're building 600 hotels. Yep, 600. Wow. The building doesn't look big enough, but somehow 600 hotels will be there. And so therefore, at some point, they'll have to regenerate our shop. So we will be moving possibly to another part of the Trocadero while they do that. And when they finish, hopefully we'll be able to relocate back into our old position. But for the meantime, come to Tokyo Toys and you'll get the best manga experience that we've ever provided.
Yeah,
we're very proud of that.
One thing is, especially for me, when I go around the area, I always have to go in, see what you guys got new, maybe buy some things. Even today, I feel like a kid in a candy shop.
In fact, that's exactly what I said to Neo Magazine when I first spoke to them. They said, what influenced the look of Tokyo Toys? And I said I wanted to make it look like a candy shop, the website. So I wanted the website to be really bright and colourful, so you felt like you had that nostalgia as a child, seeing a candy shop. And I feel that's how we try to still make it at the moment,
It's very fun, especially the graphics and whatnot. I think we can start recording again.
Okay, let's go.
So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. It's a lot of stupid things with my iPad, and Apple, if you're listening, you guys suck. Even though this is going to be on iTunes.
I can't believe they can fail on this important moment for me.
Yeah.
It's terrible, isn't it?
They're taking it away from you.
I'm moving to Samsung.
Yeah, wow.
I've just said it.
It's official?
It's official. I'm moving to Samsung now.
I think I should as well. Although, this podcast is on iTunes, so if you're listening on your iPhone, good job.
Good job. And I've got to say, Apple, they are amazing.
Yeah, they are
Sometimes
amazing.
things go wrong.
Yeah.
Technology, isn't it?
There is always things that go wrong. Speaking about things that have gone wrong, you've had you've been doing this for 10 years. Has there anything that has gone wrong so far?
Yes. My face. I used to look really young. Before I started Tokyo Toys, I looked like a spring chicken.
You still do look young.
Oh, thank you.
There's not one wrinkle on your face.
Mind you, sometimes, when I do bump into people, they look at me and go, oh my goodness, when I first met you 5 years ago, you looked like a little kid. And now you look like an old man. And I'm like, oh dear, okay, maybe the Tokyo Toys hard work has had a toll on me. But it's good to hear that I still look good.
To be honest, I actually thought you were kind of my age. I didn't know that Tokyo Toys was this old.
Mature.
Yeah, let's use that word instead. Mature.
In fact, when I first came to this expo this year, this October, and I set it up, one of my old friends, Chin, came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Hideki, you look so young," and that made me feel good, I must say.
Yeah.
He said, "You look younger." Sorry, he looked younger. That was what
you look younger.
Really
wow!
Me. I was really impressed with that.
I think maybe you found the fountain of youth. Maybe
I think
that's
it's
what Tokyo Toys.
I think it does definitely keep me young.
I think it's been keeping everyone young at the store.
Thank you.
Maybe it's because you guys have so much fun.
Possibly.
Anyway, so as we can see, you guys take immense pride in your customer service.
Yeah.
There's not one occasion when I went into Tokyo Toys and feel like unsatisfied with customer service. So how do you guys do that?
I don't know how, actually. I think we're just very, very committed, aren't we? I think we just work very hard, much harder than people realise, I think. I think people see us having so much fun bouncing around at expos and that, and I think that looks so easy to do. But I think it's literally because we work really, really hard on Tokyo Toys. And I think being a family company helps, because being a family, you're more close-knitted. If something goes wrong, you just call up, say, your brother or your sister, and you say, oh, hi, can you fix this for a particular customer? We've messed up. Make sure they're not unhappy. Make sure whatever happened, it gets resolved to their satisfaction. And I think that's possibly it, because we do try very hard to make sure every customer that goes home is very happy.
Of course.
Or buys on us online is very happy.
Yeah. Of course. You mentioned the whole family ideal, and I think other companies are doing this as well. You mentioned Chin, and he's doing that with Tecmo Koei. Like, I feel that I'm a part of a bigger thing, like this kind of family.
Oh, definitely.
And I think you guys are doing that as well. Not many companies are doing that because they kind of feel they just want to sell their things and be detached. They don't want. They just want the money and not care about everything else. But the way you're thinking about it is that our customers, our staff, they're our family. Is that correct? Is that how you guys think about it?
Yes, it is, yes. And
That's
it's good
great.
to, sometimes customers, not customers, sometimes staff actually, they feel like they're part of a Tokyo Toys family, which is great. The fact that we can pull together 30 members of staff every single expo, well, the big ones in London, to come and help us, that just shows how much they enjoy working with us and working at Tokyo Toys.
Because, to be honest, every time I'm there, they don't seem bored, or they don't seem, that they want to go and just go be somewhere else. They generally look happy.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to achieve, and I have to say it's probably down to you and obviously your management team.
I must say we do pick very carefully. We generally pick the best of the best for Tokyo Toys. We just don't say, hey, we've got a job going, who would like to do it? We actually pick very, very carefully. We have staff coming for trials to see if they're suitable for Tokyo Toys, and that's how we've achieved some of the best. In fact, we have a work experience. Is it system? I'm not sure what word to use it, but we take in work experience students, and we have them for 2 weeks. Some of them, well, quite a lot of them actually, come in really, really shy, and when they leave Tokyo Toys, they're really confident and they can approach customers and no problem. And it's wonderful to see that we can do that. We can help the young become more confident and find their place in society, and not society, find their place for themselves. Because I remember when I was young, I went onto Worksmith and I was too scared to even talk to people. I didn't have the right encouragement to help me break out of my shell, and I think because of that, and I remember that, I tried to help the young that come to Tokyo Toys to break out their shell and find their comfort zone in whatever they're doing.
Of course. What do you think Tokyo Toys kind of, against all the other manga and anime retailers, what do you think what makes Tokyo Toys the best?
Okay, I think it's because we are really big fans of anime. We're always watching the latest series, and because of that, we know what the hot trends are, who the favorite characters are, and also we always ask our customers what do they like watching, who do they like in the new series, and we take their input and we select the type of products that we feel they would like, and a lot of the time we look at the trends going around the world, and generally the trends are 1 year before the UK, but we very carefully pick the trends that we think will work, and rather than doing it small at Tokyo Toys, we just go all out. So we've introduced a lot of the fun products that other people then copy a year later or 2 years later. But so we're really proud, and I'm quite confident to say that we do start a lot of the trends in the UK with new products, and I think that's what customers love about Tokyo Toys. When they come to visit the store, there's always something new that either they've been looking at online and they're like, wow, I can't believe Tokyo Toys has this, and I think that's what makes us so special for a lot of customers.
So recently I went to the store and I saw a lot of self-published anime and self-published manga. Do you think it's important to support the indie manga creators out there?
It's extremely important, because particularly, manga in the UK is one of the hardest industries to be in, and to see, especially the fact that Coco Monkey was created for us by an indie manga artist in the UK at the time, and therefore, it always reminds us of what we got to give back. So we have young manga artists that come to our store and they'll tell us about their latest manga that they're working on, and we say, sure, bring it in, try it in our shop and see what happens. We can't promise anything, but it generally helps them out and it helps us as well, and I think it is very important for shops to support the indie artists, because at the end of the day, without those people spreading the love of manga every single day, the industry would be so much smaller, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true, and it's kind of important, as you mentioned, because you guys are growing together.
That's right.
Which is great. Another thing that I'm going to just talk about is what kind of anime genres are you into, and what would you say is your favourite anime series?
Oh, it's really difficult because there are so many good ones. But at the moment, the two that really stick in my mind is Full Metal, the Ultimate, Full Metal. Sorry, let's recut that. It's FMA. Mm-hmm. I love that series, and Elfin Lied. I absolutely love that series because the main reason with that one is because when I first put it on, I thought, oh my, goodness, what is this? It's just one of those ridiculous animes, isn't it? With nudity in it, or just using nudity as a story. But then, as soon as I got past the first series, which confused me, I didn't know what was going on. It all started to piece together. It was so cleverly done. Every single each episode was a cliffhanger. And you just couldn't watch one. You had to watch the entire series in a go. And it's one of those amazing things that when you watch it, and it leaves a emotional an impact on you. And those two animes, they have that ability. Well, at least for me anyway, they really left me wondering. I wish it would never stop. I wish that anime would just carry on because it was so amazing. I don't know how the Japanese do it.
That's the thing with long-running series and stuff like that, is that if they kind of continue it, it could become really bad. That's what I'm worried about. And because personally with me, I kind of like really cute animes and like romances and comedy. And I think one of my favorites is K-On!
K-On! Okay.
Yeah, and I know you guys have a lot of K-On! Stuff in the store, like a lot of... But the thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, we want season 3 of K-On! Because there is manga to support that anime. Yep. The only problem I find with that is that you're just going to kill it if you continue it. But yeah.
It can happen, but I think personally from a retailer point of view, the guys who did Naruto, they are amazing. I think if Bleach and Naruto never came about, I think the whole industry in the UK and in the world will be completely different. Yeah, they're the two animes that went into the hundreds of series, didn't they? And I think that gave the industry such a foundation. Without that foundation, I don't think Tokyo Toys would be where it is now. I remember when Naruto first came out, I knew nothing about it. We had some small gashapons from Japan, and they didn't really sell that well. We took quite a long time to sell them. But now, whatever we get in the Naruto just disappears within a few weeks. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy, and I believe the anime and the manga are going to end for Naruto. Personally, I'm not a big fan, because like I said, I like cute anime. It's not like I don't like Naruto, it's just, it's too much violence, and, I have to deal with a lot of things every day, and I don't want to go home and watch something ninjas fighting, although that seems cool, but, I just like to watch K-On! Or something completely cute, and I don't know how to explain it.
We agree. That's the beauty about, the anime industry. There's so many different animes.
There is.
There's something for everyone,
But that's the same with Tokyo Toys. There's a lot of different, whether you like K-On!, whether you like Full Metal Alchemist or Naruto or anything. Yes. You're going to find it in Tokyo Toys.
Yes, in fact. I tried to sum it up for you, but I think you've summed it up yourself. That's why people love Tokyo Toys. They come to it and they see things that they like, but not many other people like, but we are brave enough to stock it,
And it's true, and there's a lot of competitors, like I said, they tend to see, what is famous now, and just do that, But to be honest, I've seen a lot of like Naruto stuff, and when it's just a store that's selling Naruto stuff, I'm not going to walk into that store. But, when there's a vast range of things, there may be some stuff that I don't know, but I'm like, that looks cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even in terms of Tokyo Toys, there's stuff that you sell that isn't even anime related.
Yes, that's right. We do a lot of gaming products, don't we?
Some gaming products, even Vocaloids as well. You've got the Hatsune Miku stuff, which is very popular. Although there's one thing that I'm really annoyed about, but that's my personal preference, is the mouse pad.
The mouse pad.
Like I don't mind them, but for Miku, no way. It's just mainly because Miku's actually 15, and that's just like, whoa, Miku, no.
Yes, well, there's that's the beauty about Tokyo Toys. It's people, I think, in the UK, they have an impression of Japan that it's a bit crazy, and and in a way, Tokyo Toys having those products kind of sums up, the products coming from Japan, a bit creative, and there's always something for everyone. Yes, and that's what makes Tokyo Toys unique and fun place to visit. Yeah.
But still, I wouldn't buy that.
Yes, and we have extending forks. Yes, what's an extending fork doing in a Turkish, a manga store? But it's just fun. People love it.
Yeah, of course. And you guys
It's all
also
about
have
fun.
those umbrellas, which look badass. Those
Yes.
samurai sword umbrellas.
Yes,
Which is...
they're great fun.
they are great fun.
Yes.
You just need to explain it sometimes, because I have one myself. And,
Yeah,
especially if there's police around, don't be waving it about, because
that's right.
you
Keep
might
it
get
in your
trouble.
bag. Yep.
Keep it in your bag, or...
And if they ask to see it, show them it.
Yeah,
and they'll
show
be like, oh my.
show them the umbrella. Open
And they'll
it
be
up.
so embarrassed.
Yeah.
They'll look at it and think, oh my goodness, why did I stop that person for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Anyway, it's
Okay.
it's a pleasure to
It's been
record
great
with
fun.
you.
It's been great fun.
So yeah, what did you think of this episode?
I think it's great. I think one of the most amazing things about this episode, which I didn't, it didn't occur to me, but it just brought me back 10 years, and to talk about those 10 years of Tokyo Toys is just reminds us of how much fun we had, even though it's been really hard work, and just makes me think about where we came from again. And in a way, thinking about where you came from may be the future for Tokyo Toys.
Indeed. So people that are listening, if you want to go and visit Tokyo Toys, you can do in the London Trocadero store. I'll put all of that stuff in the description of this episode. You can also buy online at www.tokyotoys.com. That is not with a Z, it's with an S, so you guys know. And yeah, remember guys, another thing is check out the rest of the episodes of this podcast. Yay!
Hey,
Hope you guys have
definitely.
enjoyed this episode.